He knocked me over. I landed on the dog bowl.
This one's wife. She is his babysitter. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. As I have explained previously, the dynamic between this one's wife and Harry is narcissist and intimate partner primary source. This means that Harry is the individual who is the easiest to control, who also provides best fuel, character traits and residual benefits. Part of the way that Harry is controlled is basically to infantilize him, to treat him like a baby. I'm not suggesting, for instance, that he likes to dress up in adult diapers and suck on a dummy or pacifier and play mummies and babies with this one's wife, but who's to say what sexy freak behaviour that those two might get up to? After all, I explained in a recent video about that she is a sex freak, and Harry, with his vulnerabilities and issues, may well go down that road. But leaving aside any freaky behaviour in the bedroom, the fact is that in part she acts as his babysitter because he has these vulnerabilities as often being seen as a man-child. And she, like any narcissist, will utilise that vulnerability against a victim, particularly one who is the intimate partner primary source. For instance, the fact that Harry lost his mother in tragic circumstances when he was very young is something that this one's wife exploits. She does so initially by appearing compassionate, but it's false compassion, to be supportive for his circumstances, to recognise through cognitive empathy how difficult life must have been for him, having that burden. But she also utilises it in a malign fashion by the Diana duplication, by wearing the same fragrance that was worn by Diana, Princess of Wales, dressing similar to her, talking about how she channels her spirit. All of this is utilised against the impressionable Harry to enable her to continue to control him. And this form of being mum to him and acting as a babysitter is something that has been picked up elsewhere as the gruesome twosome continue to get a hammering. It's Radar Online, and Charles Switzer is the journalist this time who explains Prince Harry's birthday bust. Man-baby Duke deprived of freedom by this one's wife, who is spare author's therapist and babysitter. A dangerous combination for someone as dim-witted and as afflicted by emotional thinking as Harry is, for his wife to behave like a therapist and a babysitter. The article explains, this one's wife is reportedly pulling Prince Harry's strings as she orchestrates every single microscopic fibre of their lives, both public and private, according to one Palace insider. To all of you valuable viewers, that is not a surprise to understand that she's orchestrating every single microscopic fibre of their lives, because as you know, this originates from her need for control. Aristocrat Lady Victoria Harvey has dished to GBN's Nana Akua how the Royal Duke has become dependent on the Duchess. This is part of the codependency of his nature, who banned the man-baby 40-year-old from having a large party to celebrate his milestone birthday. Once again, this is the assertion of control over Harry by ensuring that he's not distracted by having lots of people. And, of course, the nullification of the threat to control to this one's wife, because as I've explained to you on numerous occasions, when you're in devaluation, the narcissist hates your birthday because it's about you and not about the narcissist. Harry is in a sustained devaluation, and therefore it's no surprise at all that this one's wife banned him from having a large party, because that would mean that he would be getting all of the fuel, although he doesn't need it, and she wouldn't. Thus, it's a huge threat to her control, and she needs to nullify that threat to control, acting with a sense of entitlement and a lack of emotional empathy for Harry in banning him from having a party. The claustrophobic This One's Wife's fantasy land in Monty Shitshow seems to be perfectly okay for the military veteran prince, who has apparently become a shell of his former self. Lady Harvey said, "He wanted to do a big party, and she didn't want that. I think she's so worried about him straying and seeing his old friends, which of course would threaten her need for control, and spending time with them and remembering his old life, that she's got him in this cage, where all he knows is this life that he has with her. Indeed, that is the purpose of it. Alienate Harry from external influences, making him easier to control." Akua chimed in to highlight how the fifth in line to the British throne is a grown man and should be able to decide how and if he even wants a celebration for hitting the big 4-0. Harvey replied, 40 is still very young. Men are quite juvenile at 40 years old. If he had a choice, he would have probably been in England with a lot of his old friends. But she's not going to let him do that, is she? She continued, I think she keeps him on a really tight leash. You can see it in him. He's deprived of freedom. She's sort of his therapist and his babysitter. And he's very, very dependent on her. This curious insight follows recent news showing how the Duke is not expected to visit Kate and William during his trip to the UK on Monday, September the 30th for the Well Child Awards. This also comes amid the olive branch that isn't an olive branch when the Californian Duke received a stunning birthday message from both King Charles III and the Wales family. The Prince of Wales and his brother allegedly haven't spoken a word to one another privately since Queen Elizabeth II's funeral nearly 2 years ago. It is said Harry's disparaging marks against the future king and his wife, as well as sharing personal details about other senior royals, are of course a few of the reasons why. Some feel this one's wife's quiet and coy behind-the-scenes presence in all of these events could be her manoeuvring the prince like a puppet to frame a story she wishes to control. Akua said, he just likes to keep her sweet. I don't think there's anything wrong with a man wanting to keep his wife sweet, but it depends what her demands are. And of course, Harry is responding like the typical victim of a narcissist by not wanting to rock the boat, by seeking to placate her, giving in to her demands. And of course, we all know that she wears the trousers and that she utilises this role as therapist and babysitter as part of the way that she controls him. And these commentators are entirely right about that. Harry can't see it. He doesn't understand the extent to which he's being controlled. This one's wife, of course, will not like to be described in these terms. She will not like to be seen as controlling. She thinks she's a decent person. She will not want to be seen as a babysitter to her husband because that would seem demeaning and critical of her. But it is entirely accurate because that's what she does. She treats him like a child. She treats him like a baby because that makes him all the easier to control. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.